I did was Eric Liddell, and the book I got my information on Eric was a book called For the Glory by Duncan Hamilton. So a little bit about Eric. Eric was born on January 16th, 1902. At age 4, Eric fell ill with a disease called dysentery, which greatly affected his legs. He could barely walk. In fact, he waddled, so no one ever thought he'd run again. In 1907, right here, Eric's parents, who were missionaries in China, wanted to get their boys on the path of becoming missionaries themselves one day. So they left from China and went to their home country of Scotland, and they enrolled their boys in a boys' missionary school and returned back to China themselves. In 1921, Eric enrolled in his college choice at Edinburgh University. Whilst Eric was still in college, Eric took part in the 1924 Paris Olympics, and if you've seen the movie Chariots of Fire, you know the story about how Eric refused to run on Sunday and he ran in the 400 meters. He was supposed to get absolutely destroyed and get creamed, right? But Eric defied all odds and won gold. So Eric had this bright, huge future ahead of him becoming an Olympic champion, even more than he already was. But he felt like God was calling him to give this up and become a missionary in China like his parents, and he did. When Japan invaded China, which was originally called the Sino-Japanese War, was really part of World War II, Eric was forced to go to a Japanese internment camp called Weizien. It was nicknamed Courtyard of the Happy Way. And he had to go there because of the fact that he was really from the United Kingdom, and so he was forced to go there. And yes, because he was a missionary, they forced him to go there. Just a few months before the camp was liberated, Eric would die of a tumor. I feel like Eric's greatest influence on society was really in other people's lives. Because, for example, I mean, he was a great father figure to the people, to the little kids in the camp. Like, they actually called him Uncle Eric. Anytime they needed something or just wanted a friend, or they just, they were lonely, Eric was there, and he treated them as if they were his own children. Eric also was serving 24/7 all the time. Even in the midst of his tumor, of course I didn't know he had this, even in the midst of it, of him dying from it, he was serving. He just disregarded it and said, oh, it's just the bad food that I'm getting, and I'm just a little under the weather, and he kept serving and did the jobs that even no one else wanted to do. Eric also wasn't just a mentor to the little kids, he was also a mentor to everybody who needed it. For example, like if someone needed some advice, right, or they're going through a tough time, Eric encouraged them and built them up and gave them biblical advice. For example, like just as a little cool example, Eric during Christmas would give out Christmas cards and be nice to people and do that. Eventually, though, Eric got too sick where he couldn't do it anymore. I think the biggest takeaway from Eric's life was the fact that, people will say that being a Christian is too hard. That the Bible says we have to be perfect, and that's just impossible, so we're not even going to try. But Eric, there's actually a quote from the book that said, Eric knew that perfection was unattainable, but he wouldn't let that dissuade him from striving for it. So in spite of this, that he knew he couldn't be perfect, he strived for it in all he did, and his life completely testified for that. I definitely recommend this book because it gives you another perspective of someone who gave their life for Christ, and it's just really cool how God could take him from one place to the other. And just a cool fact, the track, as you probably already all know, is actually made of coffee grounds to make more like a dirt tracks. They didn't have foam or synthetics back then. So not only is it also realistic, it also smells delicious. Any questions?